We're just kind of like that. Well, something Dustin and I do. Yeah, that's true. Research on golf. Yeah. We get out, we have all this toys out there and. Yeah. Nice smart guy. They're a good friend of mine.
But
you're downtown.
I would check. I just thought of it.
I mean, like every day.
All right.
Some of us don't.
Probably that one too.
You retired?
It is 10 o'clock. It's time to start our meeting. Amy, please call a roll.
Mr. Neely?
Here.
Mr. Rath?
Here.
Mr. Ryan?
Here.
Mr. Barker?
Here.
Ms. Blind? Present. Mr. Shu?
Present.
Mr. Cost?
Here.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus?
Here.
Mr. Marmy?
Present.
Would you like to stand tonight? And before Mr. Labutus, said for I'd like for us to bow our heads and take a moment of silence for President, passing President Jimmy Carter. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Labutus.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer right now. We thank you for this Christmas season and New Year's that we just came through. We thank you for the opportunity for new beginnings, second chances, and third chances. I just ask you to be with us this evening. Bless this new year, bless our safety forces as they continue to service each and every day and protect us. Be with this council and be with our discussions, help them to be fruitful and help us to keep in mind your vision for our city. These things I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next up on the agenda is caucus. Do we have anything tonight? Next up is minutes of December 16th, 2024. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Labutus, second by Mr. Hauser. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same side. That passes 10-0. Appointments, there are none this meeting. Reports of standing committees, finance, street service without objection will be received and filed. Reports from city officials, Auditor Ryan Bubb, operating report for the period ending December 31st, 2024. One communication tonight, Ohio Division of Liquor Control, transfer liquor permit from Licking Springs Golf Course LLC, clubhouse, patios, pools, and golf course, 2250 Horns Hill Road, the Mountain Builders Country Club Company, 2250 Horns Hill Road, North Ohio, 43055. Next up, we have a public hearing, 24-51. Amy, please read the public hearing.
Ordinance number 24-51 by Mr. Hauser, Mr. Marmy, Mr. Rath, and Ms. Blind. An ordinance adopting the 2024 City of Newark Thoroughfare Plan and amendments to Part 12 of the City of Newark Codified Ordinances titled Planning and Zoning Code.
Okay, the public hearing is now open. Do we have anybody here to speak for or against this public hearing? You can come on up. Give us your name and address, please. Yeah, right there.
Chris Williams, 743 Larkspur Drive. I came upon the plan, through the newspaper, legal area. And I just wanted to say, I was so surprised at how many streets would be impacted, through the plan. And was particularly interested in the streets that were labeled minor collectors. Particularly Unisca Street, because it does not cross either of state routes. And I believe there were other streets as well, although I didn't go through every street there. But I'm particularly concerned with those persons who have properties that do not have enough frontage to be, to accommodate the broad lanes of this plan. And I know that many people would not be able to move from their homes and not be able to accommodate some of these things in general, but many of the people on View Vista and there other places are, just do not have the wherewithal to move and to how the way it is. And although I recognize that we do have to move forward with planning for all the area and all the major streets and so forth, I think that for View Vista and some of the ones that don't intersect, I would respectfully ask that council and that the engineers look closely before they start deciding that some properties are going to have houses moved, or they're going to have to move. People are going to have to lose their home and move elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak for or against this? By council, have anything to say? Okay.
I'll make a quick comment. I think the council will debate during after the second reading.
You're right. So Amy, go ahead and we'll read the public hearing.
Ordinance number 24-51 by Mr. Hauser, Mr. Marmy, Mr. Rath, and Ms. Blind, an ordinance adopting the 2024 City of Newark Thoroughfare Plan and amendments to Part 12 of the City of Newark Codified Ordinances titled Planning and Zoning Code.
Okay, you've heard the reading of 24-51. What is your wish?
Mr. President, make a motion to adopt ordinance 24-51.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Got a motion by Mr. Hauser, second by Mr. Barker. Now, do we have any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Good.
Yeah, I would just say, I know the planning commission has recommended passage, so I'm going to encourage my colleagues to do the same. I think kind of in response to some of the comments you made there, I think you're right that the engineer and council need to look carefully before any of those plans are executed. And I don't think this document is meant to be, we're going to do all these things without really, diving into the impact and examining those. So I would just encourage my colleagues to move this forward.
Thank you. Anybody else? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Shu.
Yes.
Mr. Cost.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
24-51 passes 10-0. Next up is comments from citizens. Is your opportunity to speak about anything you'd like to speak? Do we have anybody tonight? Okay, next up is ordinance on the second reading, 24-50.
Ordinance number 24-50 by Ms. Blind, Mr. Cost, Mr. Rath, Mr. Barker. An ordinance amending chapter 890 of the codified ordinances of the city of Newark, Ohio regarding the levying and collection of municipal income taxes.
For the reading of 24-50, what is your wish?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to adopt 24-50.
Second.
Got a motion by Ms. Blind, second by Mr. Labutus. Any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Shu.
Yes.
Mr. Cost.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
24-50 passes 10-0. Next up, ordinance on the first reading. There's none tonight. Next up, resolutions on the second reading, 24-108.
Resolution number 24-108 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, Mr. Cost, Mr. Neely, Mr. Rath, and Ms. Blind. A resolution appropriating monies for current expenses of the municipal corporation.
Further reading of 24-108, what is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt resolution 24-108.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Barker. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Shu.
Yes.
Mr. Cost.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
24-108 passes 10-0. Next up is 24-109.
Resolution number 24-109 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Marmy, Mr. Cost, Mr. Neely, Ms. Barker, Ms. Blind. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service to advertise for bids and enter into contract for certain essential supplies for various departments of the city of Newark, Ohio for 2025.
Further reading of 24-109, what is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath?
make a motion to adopt 24-109.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Rath, second by Ms. Blind. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Shu.
Yes.
Mr. Cost.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
24-109 passes 10-0. Next up is resolutions on the first reading, 24-105.
Resolution number 24-105 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, Mr. Rath, Mr. Cost, and Ms. Blind. A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Newark to apply for funding from the United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance under the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant Program.
24-105 will be held until our next meeting, Tuesday, January 21st. Next up is 24-111.
Resolution number 24-111 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, Mr. Cost, Mr. Rath, and Ms. Blind. A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Newark to submit an application to the Ohio Department of Public Safety for an award of fiscal year 2025-2026 funding under the Ohio EMS Training and Equipment Grant Program.
24-111 will be held until our next meeting, Tuesday, January 21st. Next up is 24-112.
Resolution number 24-112 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, Mr. Cost, Mr. Rath, and Ms. Blind. A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Newark to prepare and submit applications to the Department of Homeland Security for fiscal year 2024 Prior Act grant programs in support of training programs, equipment purchases, funding for personnel, fire prevention, and fire safety programs throughout the city.
24-112 will be held until our next meeting, January 21st. And the last one tonight is 24-113.
Resolution number 24-113 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Cost, Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, and Ms. Blind. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service for the city of Newark, Ohio to enter into a purchase agreement with Rinker Materials for the purchase of a concrete pipe to replace the current storm pipe on River Road without competitive bidding and declaring an emergency.
Further reading of 24-113, what is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt 24-113.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Rath, second by Mr. Ryan. Do we have any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath?
the reason for the emergency clause on this is they're trying to get it in with the state bid at the same time. So they're able to get the best price possible.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
24-113 passes 10-0. Next up is your second opportunity for citizen comments. Do we have any tonight? City officials? Law director?
Just want to say thank you to the street department. I know they've been out, working hard after the snow. And the fact that I was able to navigate the large hill on my neighborhood was a win this morning. So, with that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I'll probably extend on that. We have a lot of employees that work very hard as we take December and roll into a new year. So whether it's out in the streets or it's our safety forces that work hard on holidays to keep us safe, they're working in adverse weather. Or it's even the auditor's department as they roll the books and of course the financial people in each of the departments. We appropriate money, we encumber money, and all that gets reset to zero on 12/31. So on 1/1, there's a lot of paperwork behind the scenes while we're so obviously it's a very perpetual business that keeps rolling on. There's a lot of reset when we roll into a new budget. Kudos to council and of course the entire city with the budget. That's probably a little bigger accomplishment than some people understand in some ways. Just the general fund alone has probably 500 line items in it. And of course, there's many things beyond that. So it's nice to kind of get that and roll into a new year and get that all kind of in the past a little bit and get us set as we move forward. So I just want to thank everybody who was involved with that, as I say, from council, across administration, and across all the employees. So with that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Mr. Neely.
Thank you. I'll just echo the sentiments for the appreciation for the streets department. I know they got 24/7 staffing. I think they did a great job. So just thank you to them. And with that, I will pass.
Thank you, Mr. Rath.
Thank you. I want to say happy new year to everybody. It is our first meeting of the year. Happy to say that we have so far succeeded in going through all of 2025 without any ums. That's awesome. Call the service committee meeting for the 21st. Also want to say thank you to Mr. Rhodes and the entire street department and everybody else working on the snowfall over the past couple of days. Our roads have been awesome. I actually heard somebody say that our roads were better than Heath. That in itself is a huge accomplishment, considering they have about 1/10 of a million miles and they send people out to catch the snowflakes. So great job on that. With that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Mr. Rath. Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I just want to say Happy New Year. Yeah, I just want to echo the mayor. The street department has been working 24/7. I got up kind of early when I seen him out, not as early as those are here, but with that, I'll pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barker.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just again, Director Rhodes, Superintendent Prince, and the rest of the street department staff are doing a great job. I know, as the mayor mentioned, our safety forces were out throughout the holiday, protecting citizens, keeping people safe, and appreciate everything they do. And really just want to say thank you to all the citizens. We're looking forward to a great 2025 as we start the new year. With that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. Ms. White.
Thank you, Mr. President. And two, I'd like to echo Mr. Barker's comments about our safety forces. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the way you guys are around the clock. No matter what the season is, taking care of our citizens. And Director Rhodes and the street department, fantastic job. And I live right on the Heath border, and I can say that our streets are better there. So I can actually say that they're great. And I also like to thank the street department for taking care of a couple signs requested by residents. And thank you for your comments concerning ordinance 24-51 about this thoroughfare. There's, to Mr. Hauser's point, there's a lot of moving parts in this, and let's keep talking about this, because you're not the only one. It's just you were the only one that was brave enough to come out in the weather. So thank you for coming. And I've also to give a shout out to the Victim Advocates Office. There were some residents that really needed assistance with some difficult matters. And I don't think they get enough credit for what they do. They take some very difficult issues and make things workable when often there doesn't seem to be a solution in sight. So, and I also like Mark Weiner, like to thank Mark Weiner for his job as well. He does a fantastic job. You know, when there's a death or some horrible occurrence, his staff is there. And I'm so grateful to them. We have a true gem in that department. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Shu.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll just echo everyone and say thank you to all our street personnel and all of our safety forces for all the work over the past few days and always, really. And I also want to thank Mrs. Williams for sharing her concerns about the thoroughfare plan. Appreciate you coming out on a cold wintry night to do that. So, and with that, I will pass.
Thank you, Mr. Cox.
I would also like to thank our safety forces. They always do a tremendous job. And the street department just went above and beyond.
Yep.
So thank you so much. I'll pass.
Thank you, Mr. Hauser.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also want to thank you for coming out. I think, you know, in looking at that plan, there's plenty in there that brings up more questions. And so I think it's good to plan, but you know, when it comes down to the rubber meets the road, if you will, we'll need to have a lot more deeper conversations about that. So yeah, it's great. Yes, I want to thank the street department for all their work, keeping our streets clear. With that, we'll all pass.
Thank you, Mr. Hauser. Mr. Labutus.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just thank the streets department and our safety forces as well. And you guys were always out protecting us and for the streets. The streets look great as I was driving around today. So I appreciate all of your hard work and I will pass.
Thank you, Mr. Murray.
Thank you, Mr. President. Need to call a finance committee meeting for January 21st. I want to thank Mrs. Williams for coming in as well. I will tell you that just looking back at history. Well, first of all, every plan does not come through exactly like Mr. Hauser indicated. He said it very well. However, looking back at history and some of the plans that were presented in front of Newark that were not, the entire city of Heath would be part of Newark right now. But at the time, someone said it's ridiculous. Why would anybody want all that farmland? So we have to be careful and we do have to progress. But we want to do it wisely. And I think we have learned that, and everything that we do, the administration, the council, I think they take into consideration all the different factors. The definition of a thoroughfare is very vague because anything where individuals get from one street to another, no matter how narrow, is considered a thoroughfare. So, I also want to thank our safety and street department, and I want to echo with what the mayor says as far as the auditors department. I especially want to thank those individuals that came in on January 1st. I better make a point to state that. And one in particular, no, both of them. So, on a sad note, I want you to all keep in your prayers, thoughts and prayers, Doug Griffin, AKA Griff, was a basketball coach, assistant basketball coach up at Newark Catholic for our girls basketball program. The guy just loved basketball. He is a former head basketball coach and AD from the Columbus area. Has a state championship in basketball under his belt as a coach. He was always the first one at the court, always one of the last ones to leave. The only day in his mind, the only day better than today was tomorrow. And he just looked forward to every single day. If you knew him at all, you always knew you had a friend. He will be missed. He passed. And I just hope that any of you that did get to meet him, I know that you would probably echo in the appreciation. But just keep the Griffin family in your prayers and the whole Newark Catholic community, because it is a huge loss. He just made that big of an impact, even though he was just doing it in his retirement years, just because he wanted to be around the basketball. So, and with that, I will pass.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. This will be the last time I'll be talking about the Martin Luther King breakfast, which will be 2 weeks from today on the 20th. Hopefully we got the big snow over today, because usually it snows that morning. Beth will be praying for your mom. She's in the hospital. Mr. Koss will be praying for your wife. The next meeting is Tuesday, January 21st. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Labutus.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
You're too far over.
Yeah, clear like.
Did you make a?
You did. Give me a minute.